This is part 8 of ranking Patrik Pietschmann's covers in order of insanity. A lot has happened in the last few weeks. For those of you who don't know, I managed to sprain my ankle climbing just a few days ago. It was also my birthday a few days ago, so it wasn't ideal. But anyway, I've since finished all of my university exams as well, so that's all done now, first year complete. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I've got 9 more covers to rank. Let's get into it. The first piece we'll be looking at is Children from Robert Miles. Pretty simple beginning. I think it starts ramping up at about 50 seconds in. Fair amount of coordination needed too, actually. But as usual, you have the embedded melody in the right hand. It's a little bit different this time because the right hand is basically just playing ostinato patterns throughout the entire thing, which makes it slightly easier, of course. But I think the main difficulty in this piece is getting those echo sections right, because you've got to balance the hands really well to make that effect work. Otherwise, it just kind of sounds way too congested. With that said, I think I'll put it in medium tier, just below June 2. The next piece we'll be looking at is A New Horizon. Super difficult beginning compared to a lot of his other covers. There's also some very tricky right-hand integrated melodies with some really cool harmonies too. There is some ridiculously insane arpeggios going on slightly later in the piece at about 1 minute 30. That's after a pretty sick build-up too. Also, the sections where there's alternating octave apart notes is actually deceivingly difficult. Like, I've tried to do sections like that in the past and it's always taken me ages to actually get it right. It's just the balancing of the hand is always just really tricky. And you know how I mentioned there were insane arpeggios at about 1 minute 30? Yeah, well, a little bit later on they're even more crazy. So I think for those reasons, we'll be putting in SS Plus tier, and we'll put it just behind Star Wars. Yeah, we'll put it just behind Star Wars SS Plus tier. Okay, the next cover we're looking at is Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Got such a sinister melody. I don't think I've heard anything quite so sinister in my life. Fairly simple harmony. It does get a bit repetitive. I mean, it is just one theme repeated pretty much throughout the entire thing. At about 1 minute 20, there's some difficult coordination needed to balance out the melody with the harmonies. But I mean, with that said, it's not too bad, to be honest. And once again, it is pretty repetitive. So I think I'll put it in medium tier, behind Heart of Courage. The next piece we're looking at is one of my favourites. It is Cantina Band from Star Wars. This piece is difficult for a lot of different reasons, which does make it quite hard to rank because it is super unique. It's definitely one of his more unique ones out of all of his covers. Even in the beginning, the left-hand part is tricky. Like, getting that staccato bounce to work relentlessly throughout the entire thing is tough. Insanely hard coordination, insanely hard consecutive chords. You also have a lot of repetitive motion. So something that you could play twice in a row is not going to be as hard as playing it 6 times in a row, for example. Yeah, the whole thing's pretty much syncopated, super difficult, and it is just relentless throughout the entire thing, no breaks. So I think for those reasons, it's definitely going to be an SS Plus tier for me. Honestly, depending on what you guys say, I might even move it into Divine. Okay, the next one we have is Arrival to Earth from Transformers. This piece is a really simple but very powerful melody. It does get pretty repetitive, but it is quite simple. And you also just have a very easy section from about 2 minutes 30 all the way to 3 minutes 30 just in the middle of the piece. And that kind of acts as a sort of break, if you will. So I think for those reasons I'll put it in medium tier just behind Children from Robert Miles. The next piece we'll be looking at is Spider-Man vs. Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man. super cool intro. I actually love the start to this piece. It's not particularly difficult. You've got a few repeated chords, and it might be quite tricky to sort of weight the hand right. Fast consecutive octaves at points, but it's not relentless. And also the electro theme is super easy as well. I think it will be going in easy tier, and I'll put it just above Oblivion in easy tier and behind Interstellar. The next piece we're looking at is Imitation Game. There's a super cool right hand ostinato at the beginning, and it gives a sort of hidden melody effect where you don't really know where it's going to come out, and when it finally does you get this really cool sort of transition effect. You've got a lot of big left hand jumps, you've got right hand arpeggios, fairly standard Patrik Pietschmann arrangement to say the least. Because of those reasons I'll be putting it in hard tier. I think I'll put it just behind Requiem for a Dream. And the next piece we have is a little bit Christmassy for right now, but it's Carol of the Bells. I love the visual effects on this one, having the snowflakes as the notes. But yeah, super short, super epic chords, not too much going on, don't have too many arpeggios. Yeah, not too bad. I think I'll put it in easy tier, just because it is so short and there's just not that much happening. We'll put it just behind Misty Mountain in easy tier. And lastly, I've had a few comments on his new cover, Dystopia, so I thought I'd just give that a quick ranking as well. It's just relentless. I absolutely love this cover. It's probably one of my favourite ones. Super cool harmony. It's really, I mean, he's nailed the Dystopia title. It's super relentless. You have insane arpeggios, left hands, right hands, synchronized motion, pretty much everywhere. I think it's definitely going to be another SS Plus tier. I don't think it's quite up there with Jewel of Fates and Journey of Life, but I will be putting in SS Plus tier just behind Harry Potter and above Dragonborn from Skyrim. I will be doing a few adjustments based on certain comments and stuff. So I'm going to be moving Titanic to the bottom of medium tier, and Gladiator will be going down to just above Lord of the Rings. I have had comments suggesting moving Dark Knight up even further, as well as Oppenheimer, but once again I've done polls for those and it's been really close, so I'm not comfortable moving them just yet. I'll put up another poll, and yeah, we'll get a general consensus for more people. As always, thanks for watching.